Awesome. Sounds good. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Give me 1 second. Oh, hang on. Be better if I shared it first here. All right. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yep, you got it. All right. Sounds good. Well, hello, everyone. Um, Thanks for joining in today. My name is Cody Brugger. I am with Gallagher Benefit Services, and today we're going to be talking about everything open enrollment related. So we've got a few slides, probably about 15 or so slides to run through. I know we've got the entire hour set aside. Honestly, we'll probably use, maybe 35, 40 minutes of this, and then we'll open it up for questions. So it looks like we're recording. So maybe we'll go ahead and hold off. We'll take some questions at the end. If you want to go ahead and chat in any questions too, so you don't forget, I'll be able to take a look at that at the end of the presentation and make sure that I capture everything. So to kick things off, right? So we are actually in open enrollment as we speak. Today we're going to focus in basically on all the changes that are going to be happening for 2026, focusing in on medical, dental, vision. So we are going to be with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois again on medical for 2026. There's some really minor plan changes from a big picture perspective. There is going to be a rate adjustment this year, so I want to make sure we're highlighting those updated payroll deductions. And then the dental and vision is actually moving to Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois as well, and that is away from Humana. So I want to talk through what those plans look like. It's basically identical from a plan design standpoint. The big thing there is going to be searching those networks. Again, there's not really going to be a ton of disruption based on the analysis that we completed with the renewal. That puts us in a better financial position with Blue Cross Blue Shield in order to negotiate the medical renewal, and really allows us to streamline some of the administration around those plans. Additionally, we're going to see some new vendors when it comes to the tax advantage accounts. So you'll see Flex and Fidelity shown there. I'll talk through what that transition is going to look like in moving to those new vendors, right? So again, anyone that's looking to utilize the flexible spending account or the health savings accounts in 2026 is going to see that change. Mutual of Omaha will remain our carrier for basically the life, disability, and then some of our voluntary coverages. We are going to see some changes and improvements actually on the short term and long term. So we're going to spend a little bit of time talking through that so you understand what's actually changing on those lines as well. So to kick things off, looks like it kind of maybe cut off the text there. Open enrollment is going to run from December 8th. So we're already kicked off for open enrollment. We're a few days in. It's actually going to run through December 17th. Okay, so just take note of the actual end date there. I'll highlight that again at the end of the presentation. But again, this is going to run through December 17th, which is next Wednesday for those listening into this today. So open enrollment is passive. So you have the opportunity to make any changes for 2026 that you see fit. So remember, open enrollment, you can change between the plan options that are available. You can add and drop coverage for you or your covered dependents or eligible dependents. Again, if you don't take action, everything will roll forward as you under your current elections, with the exception of the flexible spending and health savings accounts. Those, the IRS, they require those to be submitted each year. So if you are looking to keep everything the same, but you do want to continue participating in the FSA or HSA programs, you will need to go into bSwift through Paylocity and make those benefit elections again by the December 17th timeframe. Now, again, I kind of highlighted this towards the start of it, but from an open enrollment snapshot, again, Blue Cross is going to remain the carrier on medical. We've got a couple slight changes on our Blue Choice Options PPO program that I'll highlight, and then increased payroll deductions for 2026. Dental and vision coverages are going to, again, move from Humana to Blue Cross. We're going to talk about that in detail. Fidelity and Flex are going to administer those tax advantage accounts. Really cool things happening with short and long-term disability. So just to kind of highlight quickly before we dig into it, the short-term disability is going to see a decrease in costs. Remember, this is voluntary. So you may or may not be enrolled in this today. You can add it during open enrollment or drop it. But we're actually going to see a decrease in cost for those that are currently enrolled. And then your benefits will actually kick in quicker. So when you go out, if and when you go out on short-term disability, the benefit will actually begin after 7 days versus the current 14-day waiting period. So we're going to see a decrease in cost, and then we're also going to see those weekly benefits kick in after only 1 week versus 2. And then the other really cool improvement this year is Prince will now be providing employer-paid long-term disability coverage, and all full-time benefit eligible employees will automatically get that. So right now it's voluntary. So everyone's going to be automatically enrolled. There's not anything you need to go into bswift or Paylocity for. So even if you are, doing a passive open enrollment, you don't go in and do anything, that will automatically be added for you. Again, I'll talk through some of the plan specifics, but that's a great enhancement for everybody. If you're currently enrolled in the voluntary long-term disability, your plan's actually getting better. I'll speak to that. And the company's picking up all the cost. And then again, if you're not enrolled, you're automatically going to get that for 2026. I'm getting ahead of myself. I already talked through a few of these items. So again, open enrollment, I treat it like my annual benefits oil change, right? So it's basically the one time of the year where you have to sit down, make any and all adjustments. You have a free pass, right? To be able to add or drop coverage for you, your dependents. You can switch between any of the plan options that are available. Just remember that any election that you do make during open enrollment, you are locked in for a 12-month period, right? So we're locked in for the 2026 plan year, unless you experience a qualifying event. So that's going to be things like marriage, divorce, birth of a child or adoption, losing other coverage. So if you're covered under a spouse, right, they change jobs and you lose that coverage, you'd be able to enroll in the Prince plan mid-year, gaining access to new coverage, right? So let's say your spouse gets a new job and that employer offers coverage that is available to you, and that plan better suits your needs. You'd be able to drop the Prince plan mid-year. The only really rule to remember for that is that you need to notify HR and make sure that that change is made within bswift and Paylocity within 30 days. Outside of that 30-day window, and you'd have to wait until the following year's open enrollment. So really important, again, even if you're not sure, right? If the situation applies, reach out to HR. They know, any questions, they're able to come to myself and our team. And if you're able to make a change, we'll let you know, and you'll be able to get that done. Eligibility reminders, again, adding or dropping yourself or your dependents during open enrollment. Dependent children are eligible up to age 26. That is an ACA rule. Just remember that is regardless of student status, marriage status, or employment status. It's literally just age that is the determining factor of whether you can enroll your children. And then domestic partnerships, they're allowable under the benefit plans. There are some tax implications for that. Essentially, the portion of premium for your domestic partner is not on a pre-tax basis. So there's some information included in the 2026 benefit guide, and then also just feel free to reach out to HR if that situation applies to you and you have any questions about the tax implications there. All right, so as far as the medical plans themselves, again, really not a lot of change occurring for this plan year. We're going to have the two similar plan options available for 2026. We are still going to be under what's called those blue choice options, right? So for anyone currently enrolled, you've experienced that for the first year of 2025. We did move to these plans for January 1st of 2025. I know there's been some feedback regarding labs and things like that in the area, which we're trying to troubleshoot and support with Blue Cross Blue Shield. But ultimately, I think overall feedback has been good. So just know that, again, the same network, same claim processing, all of that remains the same. Your same Blue Access for Members login, everything's gonna stay the same on those things. Those that are enrolled in the Blue Choice Options PPO, you are going to see some slight adjustments. I've highlighted them blue there. So out-of-pocket maximum for single and family is going to see a slight increase to $3,500 single and then $10,500 for a family. These are standard. I'll preface this. These are standard plan design changes that Blue Cross is rolling out across their entire book. So we're not able to kind of get around these. And then we're also going to see some adjustments to copays. So the office visit copay is going to have a slight $5 adjustment to $35, and then specialty is going to see a slight $10 adjustment to $60 per specialty visit. And then the only other change is going to be on the RX down at the bottom there. And we're going to have some, again, adjustments across both preferred generic, non-preferred generic, preferred brand, non-preferred brand. So just keep an eye out for that. Effective January 1st. Again, these changes aren't going to take effect until 1/1, so keep using your current ID cards. Keep using the plan as you have been up until this point. Now to run through really more high level, right, of how these two plans compare. Now, obviously, I'm actually going to highlight in the next couple slides here the cost comparisons, right? So remember, the costs are adjusting upward for 2026. Blue Choice Options high deductible health plan. So this is the lower cost option, right, that's available to everyone. Remember, with these high deductible health plans, or HDHP, this is the program that you're able to take advantage of the HSA, or health savings account. I'm going to talk about that in detail in a couple slides. The main key that I want everyone to understand on this plan is that any and all services first go towards our deductible. Once our deductible is satisfied, the plan pays 100% of covered in-network services for the remainder of the calendar year. So $3,500 for single and then $10,500 for family is an absolute worst case scenario for your medical and prescription drug services. And then remember that this plan also includes an embedded deductible and embedded out-of-pocket maximum. And it's always really important to point that out on these high deductible health plans, because if you're covering yourself, your spouse, and let's say 2 kids, all right, I'll take my situation as an example. So it's the 4 of us enrolled, but I'm the only one incurring services. Once I hit my own $3,500 deductible, that also satisfies my out-of-pocket limit or maximum. And Blue Cross is going to pay 100% of my covered in-network claims for the remainder of the calendar year. Meanwhile, my spouse and 2 children, right, they're going to have essentially 2 additional individual deductible amounts until we hit that full $10,500. So whether it's 2 individuals or all 3 of them collectively as a family, once we hit that $10,500, now everybody moves into that 100% coinsurance level, right, where we are, as the member, are responsible for absolutely nothing. Okay, so I just want to stress the importance of that. If you have one individual within the family that's a high utilizer, right, you know they're going to be hitting that deductible. Just remember that they are capped at their own $3,500. They don't have to meet the entire $10,500. Okay. Couple other points to make on this plan specifically. Preventive care is covered at 100%. You don't have to satisfy anything towards your deductible. You don't have to pay any copays. It's covered at 100% as long as it's submitted to Blue Cross Blue Shield as a preventive claim. Now, additionally, for medical services, so think of things like office visits, urgent care, emergency room, and hospital services, things like, you could have inpatient surgery, outpatient surgery, diagnostic labs, x-rays, MRIs, CT scans, you name it. Okay, all those types of medical services. Remember, you're not going to pay at the point of service for those. They're going to take down your Blue Cross Blue Shield ID information, and they're going to submit that actually to your state's Blue Cross. So I know this has come up a few times too. So sometimes providers can get a little confused. They see a Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois ID card. They actually submit those claims directly to, and this goes for both plans, they submit that directly to actually Florida Blues. And then Florida Blues will actually reroute it to Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois for payment. So if a provider is ever giving you kind of question or concern, right, of whether they accept it, these plans do include Blue Cross Blue Shield's largest national PPO network. So just have them submit it to their local state plan, and it'll actually automatically get rerouted to Blue Cross. So they're going to do that process for everything that was done that day. And then a document that's called an explanation of benefits is going to be generated from that. You'll receive a copy, and then your provider's office will also receive a copy. And then that's what they actually send you an invoice based on, right? So they're going to receive payment, and then basically a document that's going to outline the negotiated discounts. Again, you'll receive that same document. It's available through Blue Access for members at bcbsil.com. That's where you're able to log in and view all that claim information. And then they're actually going to send you an invoice directly. Okay, so just know for medical services on this plan, you pay after the fact. For prescription drugs, you do pay at the point of service. So I always want to make that clear for these high deductible health plans. If you are on any higher cost brand name medications or specialty medications, I always want to give a heads up. You do pay the discounted rate, but again, prescription drugs goes towards that deductible amount. So you would be responsible again for up to the first $3,500 per individual for any high cost medications. So again, somebody on high cost brand or specialty meds, you can plan on hitting that deductible pretty quick in the year. So just make sure you have kind of the cash flow figured out from that standpoint. That is where the health savings account can come into play. But then no, once you hit, again, that deductible, you're covered at 100% for everything for the rest of the plan year. Now on the right-hand side, we've got the Blue Choice Options PPO, fundamentally different in a couple ways. So number one, we have a lower deductible, right? So some of those services that are going to encounter that deductible amount are going to be really things like hospital inpatient, outpatient, as well as things like emergency. So again, first the deductible, you might have some additional copays tied in with that. Once the deductible is satisfied, then the plan pays 90%, and then we, the member, pay 10%, right? Every dollar that we spend goes towards the out-of-pocket maximum. So whether that's money towards our deductible, our 10% coinsurance, as well as any and all of the copays listed. Every dollar we spend towards the plan goes towards that out-of-pocket maximum. Again, once that out-of-pocket is reached, Blue Cross is going to pay 100% of claims for the rest of the calendar year. Now, this plan, I know it's not noted on here, but this plan is also embedded. So keep that in mind. If you have anyone within your family, right, that is a higher utilizer, they are capped at their own $1,500 deductible, as well as a $3,500 out-of-pocket maximum. Okay. Copays kick in on day one. So office visits, specialty office visits, urgent care, as well as prescription drugs. You're going to have access to those copays, again, effective immediately on January 1st. You don't have to satisfy any deductibles or anything like that to have access to those. And then also one other point on this one, preventive care also covered at 100%. So your annual physical screenings based on age and gender, again, as long as it's submitted to Blue Cross on a preventive basis, it's going to be covered at 100%, no copays and no out-of-pocket. All right, so a couple quick reminders on the Blue Choice options. Again, I kind of referenced this a little bit earlier, but just to kind of reinforce this. So again, you're going to see Blue Choice options on your ID card. You also will see what we refer to as Tier 1 and Tier 2 benefits referenced in your documentation, in your Blue Access for members, on your ID card, potentially. Just know that, again, how this plan is set up, Blue Choice options, since you're outside the state of Illinois, you actually automatically qualify for your state's largest PPO network. And you automatically qualify for Tier 1 benefits, which is exactly what we just discussed on the prior slide. So again, keep that in mind. You may see other amounts. It's just kind of how the plan is set up with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois. But again, know you have your state's largest PPO network, and you'll automatically, claims will automatically get processed as Tier 1. And I've also included some step-by-step instructions on how to search the network. You're able to obviously go to bcbsil.com. You can access Find Care. It'll automatically default to Blue Choice options if you're logged in. You can also just select PPO, participating provider organization. That is an alternative. If you just want to search your state's largest network, just know, again, you have the broadest access. Should not be bottlenecking you, right? When it comes to searching for care. If that happens, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We also have the Benefit Advocacy Center available for people to reach out to call in or email in if you have any issues searching for providers or finding providers near your home or work. All right, now as far as the medical rates are concerned, we've got the updated cost shown here. Again, So we've got Blue Choice Options, high deductible health plan. That is going to be a lower cost plan option available. The overall impact is going to be varying between each program. I was kind of peeking at it a little bit earlier. For example, the single enrollees, you're seeing an $11 increase or just over an $11 increase per paycheck. So just wanted to kind of put some dollars and cents behind these actual adjustments that are occurring. Again, the trade-off there, lower payroll deduction, you're going to pay less out of your paycheck. But again, you have that higher deductible to reach, right? So that's really the trade-off for that lower cost plan. Blue Choice Options PPO, again, this plan is seeing an increase. This one's seeing a little higher of an increase. So just kind of looking at the general rates, single rate was seeing, I believe it was about a $26 increase per paycheck over the course of the year. So again, just wanted to kind of call out some of the increases we are seeing. 2026 was a pretty difficult year when it comes to the overall renewal and insurance market. I'm sure you've seen some instances in the news of the individual market. We're seeing not only double-digit increases, but also increases into the 20s, 30s, and upward. So not a fun year for renewals. But again, I know Prince has put the absolute best foot forward here in making sure that we're providing not only competitively designed plans, right, when it comes to deductibles, copays, out of pockets, but also keeping it as affordable as possible. All right, really quick highlight on Blue Cross Blue Shield. For those that are newly enrolled or enrolling, I should say, for January 1st, one of the most critical things you can do when you first become eligible is sign up for bcbsil.com. So once you get your ID card, once you get, you'll get communications directly, right, from Blue Cross Blue Shield once you're active in the system. They'll send you an email saying, hey, sign up for Blue Access for members, right? Here's a link. You're able to access all of the programs that are shown here. You can access all of your claims information, any pharmacy information through Prime. So if you need to find an in-network pharmacy, if you want to confirm whether a prescription is included on the plan, if you wanted to sign up for mail order, or maybe you have a specialty medication, right, that you need to run through and get approved, all of it is available through that member portal. In addition to that, again, a lot of these programs you're able to interact with throughout the year. So things like the Blue 365 member discount program. We've got Well on Target, which correlates to the Blue Point program. You can actually earn rewards redeemable in their online marketplace when you interact with the free wellness program that's available as a Blue Cross member. MD Live for telehealth. So you're able to access licensed physicians 24/7 and be able to get kind of more routine and basic care treated. So I've personally used that one for things like sinus congestion, pink eye for my son, rashes, stuff like that. A lot of that basic stuff can be facilitated and handled directly through MD Live at a lower cost than you would pay to go to your provider, and you never have to leave the house. The nurse hotline is another one. You have access, again, 24/7 if you have something going on, or maybe one of your dependents does, and you just want to talk to a registered nurse and kind of get some additional feedback versus diagnosing yourself through WebMD. It's a great resource. I've used that one as well. It's midnight or 1 a.m. and you're not sure what to do, or maybe you should go to the ER or something like that. You want to talk to somebody. It's a great option. The last call out on this slide for prescription drugs, just remember Prime Therapeutics. So it'll be right on your ID card. Prime Therapeutics is the pharmacy benefit manager. Blue Cross Blue Shield with their network, just remember they do exclude CVS pharmacies. Nationally speaking, Walmart, Walgreens, and Sam's Club are going to be the providers, or excuse me, pharmacies that you will have the lowest out-of-pocket cost at. So keep that in mind when you are out there looking to get prescriptions filled. Again, you will pay the lowest cost when utilizing Walmart, Walgreens, and Sam's. All right, so to talk through a couple of the tax advantage programs, first and foremost is the health savings account. So again, this is going to be for those on the Blue Choice Options HSA or high deductible health plan. Remember, you have access to a health savings account by enrolling under that plan. You're eligible to make pre-tax contributions towards that health savings account to pay for qualified medical expenses. What's a qualified medical expense? Basically anything covered under your medical, dental, or vision plans. for you or your tax dependents. So it's a nice way to be able to put some money away to pay for those expenses that we're already paying for out of pocket using money that wasn't taxed by the government. Also, Prince contributes towards that health savings account on your behalf. So that will remain same dollar amounts for this year. So if you're enrolled as single coverage, it's $750. If you're enrolling one or more dependents, they'll contribute $1,500 for the year. The only change to that is how it, or I guess when it's contributed. So it'll actually be contributed across all payroll cycles now. So it'll actually just be $750 divided by 26 paychecks, and that'll be the new contribution amount that will hit on a per paycheck basis. One other change for the HSA is that Fidelity will be taking over the administration of this. And this, again, was really to help streamline some of the administration, as well as your access, as well as investment opportunities. So again, for those that are going to continue participating in the health savings account, you will be provided additional information in the month of December, so a little later this month following open enrollment. And then you will also receive instruction on if you want to roll over your prior account with Paylocity, what action steps you need to take to do that. So expect some more emails, communications following open enrollment on this for anyone that's going to continue participating in the health savings account. Again, you'll have the opportunity to roll your current HSA through Paylocity over into Fidelity. You'll be able to, it's actually the same login if you participate in the Prince 401k. It's going to be all under the same login portal. You're going to have better investment options for your health savings accounts. There's a lot of wins on this one to be able to accommodate everything for making this move. The last thing I would reference on this, remember HSA contributions roll over year to year. So any dollars that you put in, any dollars that Prince puts in to your HSA, you will never lose that money. It will always roll over. You'll never lose access. If you leave the company, if you drop from that plan, that money goes with you. It's an individual bank account in your name. You take it with you if you ever leave, again, the plan or the company. So keep that in mind. That is a long-term true savings account when it comes to saving up for medical expenses. Additionally, we have the flexible spending account. So this is going to include both the healthcare and dependent care. These, again, are going to see a change in the administrator. So we are moving away from Paylocity and to Flexible Benefit Service Corporation for 2026. So how this is going to work, for anybody that's currently enrolled on the flexible spending account, all 2025 funds are going to continue to be paid and reimbursed through Paylocity. Okay, so 2025 expenses can actually be reimbursed through March 2026. So the service has to be incurred in the year of 2025, but you have through March, so you've got about 90 days to actually submit for reimbursement. So if you have any funds remaining in your flexible spending accounts, please be sure to take a look, see how much is left. The healthcare FSA, you can roll over up to 660 into 2026. There is no rollover for dependent care. Okay, so again, keep an eye if you're currently on those programs to be spending down those accounts towards the end of the year, which is about 3 weeks. Very similar to the HSA, the flexible spending accounts allow pre-tax money to go into your flex account to be used for qualified medical expenses. So healthcare FSA, that's going to be, again, anything under your medical, dental, and vision programs. For dependent care, that's going to be things like daycare, before, after school care. I use it for summer day camp, right, for my kids. The cool thing about the healthcare FSA is that those funds are available on day one. So if I elect, say, $2,000 into my flexible spending account for 2026, that full amount will be available. You'll get a new debit card from Flex, so you can begin using your 2026 funds right away. Any funds that are left in 2025 in your rollover, those will automatically be migrated and deposited in April to Flex. So it's going to automatically be done for you. Okay. The healthcare FSA for 2026, the rollover amount is getting bumped to $680. So just keep that in mind that these are spending accounts. You do want to be able to spend all of those funds within the calendar calendar year in which they're elected. For healthcare, we do have that slight rollover amount, right? 680, but trying to get it as close as possible as you can. You can contribute up to 3,400 for healthcare and then 7,500 for dependent care this year. Again, just trying to get it as close as possible to what you're trying to target. For those in the HSA program, you are eligible for what's called a limited purpose FSA. So that'll allow up to 3,400 in pre-tax contributions for only dental and vision. So it works a little differently. If you elect the limited purpose, again, it's kind of an IRS rule. You're able to still take full advantage of the health savings account, but then again, whatever you contribute into that limited purpose FSA could only be used for dental and vision services. So again, keep an eye out. There's going to be additional emails and communications towards the back half of December, letting you know that everything's live and active with Flex and when you can expect your debit cards and any enrollment materials. All right, moving on to the dental and vision. Again, we are going to see some change here. So dental is going to move to Blue Cross Blue Shield effective January 1st. Benefits are going to remain exactly the same as they are today with Humana. So the benefits themselves, when we talk about our annual maximum, right, that resets every January 1st, that's the most the plan will pay out per enrolled individual, which is $1,500. Our $50 individual deductible, or 3 times for a family, as well as our coinsurance amounts. All of that is perfectly aligned against what you have in place today with Humana. New ID cards will be mailed out in December following open enrollment. So you will have a separate ID card for medical and dental. It includes 100% coverage for in-network preventive services. You have actually 3 cleanings covered every year. So again, the number of cleanings covered is identical to what you have today. The change is going to be on the network. Okay, so we did some network disruption reporting. It is going to be minimal, all right, as far as the disruption that we're anticipating. And actually, when we stacked Blue Cross Blue Shield's dental network up against Humana's, Blue Cross's is actually significantly larger. So we anticipate a number of individuals who are currently going out of the network and using non-contracted providers to be able to actually start getting in-network benefits. So that was one kind of key, that's one really key change that I want to make sure everyone's aware of. Again, benefits themselves are staying the same. If you're going out of the network currently, or maybe your provider isn't contracted with Blue Cross, remember that the plan does pay high-level benefits for out-of-network services. So if you don't want to change providers, you can continue going and receiving essentially the same level of out-of-network benefits as you are with Humana. The key piece of homework for this one is going to be searching the network. So we did include a link there. You just want to make sure there's a number of dental networks that'll be in like a drop-down box. You just want to make sure you're using the Blue Care Dental PPO when you're searching that network. Additionally, for vision, so this is going to move to Blue Cross Blue Shield as well. This utilizes the iMed Vision Network, which is actually identical to what Humana was using. Humana uses the iMed Vision Network and then has a very small number that they contract with directly. So again, we're not expecting significant, really, if any, provider disruption on this move. Again, new ID cards will be mailed out in December. The kind of funky thing with Vision on Blue Cross Blue Shield, they'll issue new ID cards when you're first enrolled. If you ever wanted them again, you'd have to call in and request it, or you can access it directly online or through the Blue Cross app. Okay, so honestly, all providers need for Vision is your Social Security number. I get it. Some people aren't comfortable using that. I totally understand. So you will have some initial ID cards that are mailed out, and then you can access those electronically moving forward, or again, just provide your social. Again, same benefits. So you have an exam covered every 12 months after a $10 copay. Your lenses are covered after a $25 materials copay. Your frames are allowance of $130 applies every 2 years, plus a 20% discount. So my one rule for Vision, if you use it, it makes sense. Where the carriers make their money is when people don't use their benefits on these Vision plans. So again, included a link. You just want to click search as guest, enter your location. It'll automatically default to the iMed network. So you don't have to punch in any specific networks or anything like that. They just have the one. It'll use iMed's largest national vision network. All right, focusing in on some of the financial protections. So number one, life insurance. Just remember, all full-time benefit eligible employees are provided a $50,000 basic life and accidental death and dismemberment policy. That's no cost to you. If you decide you want to elect voluntary life, you can. So if you elect it for yourself, you can actually also enroll your dependents. There's no change in cost for those already enrolled unless you're aging up into the next age bracket. Remember, these plans do get more expensive as we get older. So if you're turning an age that ends in a 0 or a 5, so 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, etc., you will move into the next cost bracket or age bracket effective January 1st. So remember, employees can elect in increments of 10,000 up to 5 times your annual salary or 500,000. If you enroll yourself, you can enroll your spouse up to 100,000 and then your children up to 10,000. So additional information and costs are going to be included in bswift. Just know that, again, these are the maximum amounts. Where you see these guarantee issues, those apply when you're first offered coverage. If you've waived this in the past and are looking to enroll for the first time this year, there will be medical questions that are required. It's called evidence of insurability. So following open enrollment, you will be contacted to complete the necessary forms for that. Also, those that are currently electing but wanting to increase coverage amounts for over these guarantee issue amounts, you would also be subject to evidence of insurability. So again, just wanting to kind of call out there may be some additional action items that you'll need to take care of following open enrollment. Again, if you're enrolling for the first time, or if you're currently enrolled and going over any of the guarantee issues. All right, some of the fun stuff. We've got the disability insurance. So these are changing, right? As I mentioned earlier. So it's all good stuff. So for voluntary short-term disability, again, anyone currently enrolled is going to see a decrease in the cost of coverage. There's only that 7-day waiting period now. So coverage begins on the 8th day of disability. So you're going to actually have access to your benefits sooner if and when you ever go out on disability. And it's going to cost you less to enroll. So those not currently enrolled, you are able to elect during open enrollment, but again, you would need to complete that medical questionnaire, which is called evidence of insurability. You will be contacted if that applies to you. Okay. Short-term disability, we've got a rough breakdown of the overall benefits. Again, it's going to pay 60% of your weekly earnings up to a maximum of $1,500 per week. It's going to now kick in on the 8th day. So it has a 7-day benefit waiting period. And then those benefits will be payable for up to 12 weeks. The cost of coverage is based on age and earnings. So it is a little different for everyone. That's why we don't have like costs on here, just like the voluntary life. But again, as you're going through your enrollment, if you sign up for that through bswift, it will calculate it for you. So before you click, yes, I want this, it will actually show you what that per payroll cost will be. Also, long-term disability. Again, this is a pretty big deal this year. This is now being provided at no cost to all, again, full-time benefit eligible employees. So this is, again, income replacement for any disability that goes beyond 90 days. In a total disability situation, this is going to pay out up to Social Security normal retirement age. For some, that's 65. For most, that is going to be in the age 67 range for Social Security normal retirement. So remember, long-term disability, it's going to kick in on that 90th day. It kicks in right after short-term. And the amount of coverage is actually increasing as well. So this will now provide 60% up to $10,000 per month in long-term disability payouts. So just, again, great benefit provided by Prince. I love seeing these types of enhancements that provide and kind of bolster up your financial protection in the long term, should you ever go out on disability. Last but not least, our last kind of note here down at the bottom, new enrollees are subject to a pre-existing condition rule when you're first enrolling. So basically, think of if you're enrolling for the first time in either short-term or long-term. If you're not enrolled currently on long-term, you'll automatically be added. These are basically for the unexpected, right? They're not for medical conditions that you're currently being treated for. So if you're, for example, new to the short-term disability plan, for the first 6 months of coverage, so basically January through June of 2026, If you go out on disability due to a condition you were treated for in the 3 months leading up to 1/1, it'll be denied. It'll be excluded from coverage. And that same kind of process applies to the long-term disability as well for the first 12 months and the 3 months leading up to 1/1. So if you're currently taking prescriptions for, being treated for, et cetera, for a condition that causes or leads to your disability, again, it will be excluded for the first 6 or 12 months under short-term disability. So again, it's got you covered for anything that's new. It's just for anything that you currently have going on that will be excluded. All right, last couple coverages here. We've got the accident and critical illness. So again, these are continuing with no change in cost. If you're on these today, there's nothing's going to change. Okay, as far as what is being the plan designs, right? Everything that's under the plan is you're not going to see any change for 1/1. Just kind of a rough breakdown of these. There are no waiting periods for benefits on either of these. You can add or drop coverage during open enrollment at any time. The accident basically pays out a non-taxable benefit in the event you suffer an injury due to an accident. And then in addition to that actual injury, there's also benefits for the medical services that you require. So things like ER, urgent care, hospital admissions, therapy visits. You can see some dollar examples here. And these dollar examples are for your policy, right? So if I, suffer a fracture, right, you can have up to $4,500 as a reimbursement. Let's say I, go to the urgent care, that's a $225 reimbursement. And then I also have, 3 physical therapy visits, that's going to be $75 each. So these pair up really well with the higher deductible plans. If you actually take the savings between the two plans and your payroll deductions, it can actually cover the entire cost of these types of voluntary products. So that's where these plans have become much more popular, is when as deductibles on medical continue to grow, these plans can kind of step in and help make some of those bigger events a little more palatable from a financial aspect. And then also critical illness. So again, this is, I think I kind of call it living life insurance. So if you ever experience a significant health event, it's going to pay out a flat dollar amount, 10, 20, or $30,000 for employees. Spouses, you can elect up to 50% of your amount, and then children automatically are covered up to $5,000 when you enroll. Big ones for this are cancer, heart attack, and stroke, which are going to pay out 100%. Again, it's non-taxable. There's no rules on how you use the money. You can pay your deductibles, you can pay your mortgage, the light bill, the grocery bill, whatever you need. Those funds are available for you. No one's going to tell you how you can use them, and you'll just receive a flat check as soon as the claim is approved. All right. Next steps, obviously taking a look through the full benefit guide. Obviously talking through with your dependents, right? Take this home, talk to your spouse, any children that have a valid opinion and one that you respect on this stuff, if they're still covered. Take a look through your prior claims, right? Anticipate how you might be using the plan. Is there anything you've been putting off or anything that you expect to incur from kind of major stuff, right? That you need to be set up for. And then obviously, continue to use those 2025 flexible spending accounts. And then remember, December 17th is our cutoff for making our elections in bSwift and Paylocity moving forward. So with that, I will go ahead. That is the last slide. I'll go ahead and pause. What questions do we have? I appreciate everyone joining today, by the way. But what questions do we have after that elongated run through?
Doesn't look like anybody has any questions over here.
No questions. All right. Sounds good. Tabitha, anything on your side? Anything else you think we need to touch on?
I think that we are good, but I will direct people if they have any in-depth questions, shoot you an email or give you a call.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, I appreciate everyone's time. Thanks for hanging in there with me, and I'll get you 15 minutes back in your day.
Thank you so much, Cody. Really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks, Tabitha. Yep. Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.